Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. And before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to make a few things clear. One, do I believe that the bottom is in? Yes, I said this back in November and even in the beginning of December that I already believe that we've seen our bottom. If not, we will see our bottom in December. We are past December. We've seen very volatile days. Now I believe that we are well past our bottoms. Do I think that altcoins could still drop due to Bitcoin having a pullback? 100%. We need to buy up those dips when we do see them. Do I think that there could be a contagion effect happening right now around crypto? 100%. Do I think that it could possibly pull Bitcoin back? Yes. Where am I looking at to seeing Bitcoin pull back to? The range is roughly 17.5K. We could even go down to like 17.1K. Anywhere within the 17.1 to like 17.8K region is fine with me, but roughly within that range, so about like 18.5K is perfectly fine. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm targeting right now. I think that it would be not only beneficial for us in the short-term time frame to be able to buy those undervalued assets that are still very undervalued at this current moment in time, but also it will be healthy for price action. But why are we talking about this? Well, one thing that I've been mentioning is we are not out of the FTX situation. Listen, FTX as a whole, yeah, it's done, but we are going to see FTX being made an example of from the SEC. Now, right now, as we look at the domino effect from FTX, shout out to Anderson, we just seen Watcher Guru actually announce that Genesis, a crypto firm, is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now, this is actually a domino effect into other major ones as well. In fact, over here, we do see Genesis Crypto Lending Businesses files for bankruptcy protection. The collapse of FTX in late 2022 was the final straw for Genesis, which earlier that year reportedly suffered losses of several hundred millions of dollars due to its exposures to failed crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital. And this is in part with three subsidiaries. So we do see Genesis Global Holdco LLC, Asia Pacific, as well as Global Capital LLC itself. Like, this is an umbrella of digital currency group. This is all three of them being labeled under this. And this also has direct exposure to, it's funny because we're reading this from CoinDesk. It has direct exposure to CoinDesk as well as they are owned by Digital Currency Group. And this is also blossoming into Gemini, also having a lot of issues here because in its filing, Genesis Global Capital, the partner firm to Gemini's defunct EARN program, estimated more than 100,000 creditors and between $1 billion and $10 billion in liabilities as well as assets. So this is crazy. The two other entities estimated their assets and liabilities in the $100 million and $500 million range, respectively. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go in depth on this. It's concerning 100%, but there's a lot more tied to this as well. A lot of people were talking about Grayscale. Grayscale does have a ton of assets, especially around their Bitcoin Trust, the GBTC, that has over 600,000+ Bitcoins. And we do see there are market fears that the repercussions of the Genesis bankruptcy could somehow lead to the liquidation of their holdings of 600,000+ Bitcoins. Now, if that is the case, yeah, I think that this could be the next Black Swan event. It's very concerning. We have to be cautious, but as I said, I believe that the bottom is in. I believe that the bottom has been in, but this could bring that pullback onto the market, and we could see a lot of these assets like XRP also break down to some nice levels of major buys. I've been talking about like the mid 20-cent range for a while. We could possibly see that happen. But this was not only the other bad news about this. In fact, talking more so about Gemini and even Genesis, we do see over here from Wilbur54. It comes as no surprise, Warren Davidson. It was predicted by John E. Deaton, and if you guys don't remember the John E. Deaton prediction around the SEC and exchanges, it was actually almost over a year ago now. He was talking about the SEC going after exchanges. Gary Gensler is smarter than he looks. Bait the fish by having meetings, then pull the rod when the timing is right. Question is, how did he miss FTX? I actually don't think that he missed FTX. Call it speculation, call it whatever. In my opinion, I think that he let FTX slide because he knew the repercussions after the fact, and it will open a door for him to go after all of these other major exchanges, hard. And I think that that's actually what's happening right now. And when we look at this quote, this was the quoted tweet talking more so about the SEC alleges Gemini Genesis sold unregistered securities. I have it over here. And we do see, sounds like a familiar story. Gemini reportedly works with the SEC for 17 months, and the SEC slams them with a surprise lawsuit. If Gary Gensler was serious about helping investors, he would stop regulation by selective enforcement. Again, a lot of what we are seeing here is blatant attacks from the SEC on exchanges. The funny thing about all of this is hours after we've seen Nexo. This was also a big thing to pay attention to. Why? Because there's a lot tied to this. So we do see from John E. Deaton, no yield for U.S. investors, not until it's a product offered by Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, etc. That's exactly what it is. It's fighting for the big bankers. And only accredited investors in the U.S., and Gensler wants to raise the limit even higher. Yeah, $10 million. Let me ask you all a question for you guys out there watching this video. How many of you guys have $10 million? Because I don't. I don't have $10 million. I would not be an accredited investor. Meaning, guess what? As we focus on the big names, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they want them to be fully exposed to this. They want them to be the control aspect around yield offering for U.S. investors to keep power within the big bankers. And they want you out. They don't want the retail sector to be even a part of this. Hence why they want to raise the limit on accredited investors, say that they're protecting you, and they don't want retail investors getting hurt and all this nonsense that they've been touting for forever, just to stop you from even being able to touch crypto. While these big bankers rejoice in all of the success around this market. And again, here you guys have from the SEC Gov with Gary Gensler's snark face. Today, we charge Nexo Capital Inc. with failing to register the offer and sale of its retail crypto asset lending product, the Earn Interest product, the EIP, to settle charges. Nexo agreed to pay $22.5 million and cease its unregistered offer and sale of the EIP to U.S. investors. Oh man, this is just comical. And we even see over here from Jeremy Hogan 1, Attorney Jeremy 1, Jeremy Hogan. The SEC charges Nexo for its lending product and settles with them the same day, a $45 million collection. But isn't Nexo an exchange? What about the numerous securities that Nexo is unlawfully selling to U.S. citizens? That's okay now? I'm confused. Yeah, I mean, like, this is just insane to me. Like, this is extremely insane to me. I don't understand what is going on. Like, this is crazy. So when we really kind of look at this, like, what really is going on? Like, are we trying to see, or are we like, are we trying to have like the SEC push every single major retail investor out and, non-big banker owned corporation out? Because that's what it seems like. And I really do think that this all started 2 years ago. I think that with what the SEC did going after Ripple with XRP, was to put in notion, hey, guess what? We are going after any corporation, any company, any business, any asset that is fighting back and taking power away from these centralized big bankers. This is a big deal. This is a big problem. And right now, as we even look at like these other major entities, like Gemini, for an example, Gemini, right? So if we're starting to see this trickle down, Gemini is not a small exchange. Listen, when we go over here, Gemini is the top 10. It's in the top 10. Now, a lot of assets recently started to move away, 43% almost, out of Gemini. You can see all of the markets here in terms of how much volume and stuff. For an example, most of the volume is coming from Bitcoin, USDC, and Ethereum. Gemini is not a small exchange. Now, let's talk about Binance, right? Because Binance is the #1 exchange. Binance sitting at about roughly 13.9, almost 14 billion assets, down 43% on all of their trading volume. Why are we starting to see a big shift out of Binance? Well, when we go over here we have from Digital Perspectives. So now we know what this all really was about. Got it. So if you guys remember the Blitz Lotto announcement just recently, check this out. FinCEN specifically names Binance as top receiving counterparty of Blitz Lotto. Very interesting here. So here we have a few things to go over. One, are we about to see Binance being targeted? Two, if Binance is targeted, how big of a snowball contagion effect will this cause on the market? Because here we have approximately 2/3 of BitsLotto's top receiving and sending counterparties are associated with darknet markets or scams. And the top 3 counterparties by total amount of Bitcoin received between May 2018 and September of 2022 were 1. Binance, 2. The Russian-connected darknet market Hydra, and 3. The alleged Russian-based Ponzi scheme, the Finico. This is very interesting. This is very interesting because this is from the FinCEN. This is a government agency. This is absolutely insane. When we take a look at this and we talk about the overall risk tied to this, we need to make sure that we are getting our assets off of these exchanges. Binance, a lot of people have told me, a lot of people have come to me and say, Nick, Binance is too big to fail. None of these exchanges are too big to fail. I'm telling you guys that right now. Do not treat any of these exchanges as being safe. None of them are safe. Use them as an on and off ramp and get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. All of them. All of them. I don't care if they're the number 1 rank. I don't care if they have their proof of reserves. I don't care about any of that. Get your assets off of these exchanges. I don't know if we are about to see this as the next major black swan event around crypto, but I'm telling you, if they go after Binance, it is going to be something remarkable because this will change everything. Listen, I believe that the bottom is in, but if we start to see Binance fall, this could cause a cascading effect around the entire market. This could be the black swan event that changes everything around crypto. Because listen, Gemini falling, Genesis going bankrupt, having these contagion effects happening from FTX, that's a big deal. We could start to see money trickle out of crypto. We could start to see, a lot of these assets going down. I mean, on the 24-hour span, we're still seeing some green across the board. In fact, Nexo itself, out of everything that we just recently seen with Nexo starts to pump up like 13%. We're starting to see green across the board for the most part, but I want you guys to be cautious right now because anything can happen. We need to always be vigilant. We always need to be cautious. We need to be careful. We can't we can't let our emotions get the best of us, and we can't get overly bullish. We can't get overly bearish. We need to stay neutral because anything is possible. And make sure you are taking every single measurement possible to get your crypto off of any of these exchanges and put it into cold storage. I personally love Ledger and DCENT Wallet. They have been treating me very nicely for the last roughly, I want to argue 3 years now. So and DCENT's a recent one. I didn't have DCENT just up until last year, to be honest with you guys, but I love DCENT Wallet so far. But it's all up to you guys on which one you guys want to choose. But just get your crypto off of these exchanges. You cannot trust any of them. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.